Like any group of people, gifted people have common characteristics. At the same time, the gifted are not a monolith and are influenced by not only the perceptions of themselves, but perceptions of others. We are going to look through some common perceptions of the gifted. Often, things that are perceived positively about gifted people are their ability to generalize, to find relationships, whether among ideas, people, or just overall big pictures. They often will show initiative and originality in the work that they do. At the same time, that creative urge to go in new directions can be frustrating, especially for classroom teachers who are trying to move the class in a specific direction to follow curriculum or to follow lesson plans. Often, our gifted or twice exceptional students don't really want to follow those plans. They want to follow the ideas that they have. They also have a wide range of interests and they can become deeply passionate about a number of interests at a time. One other characteristic that we often see with our gifted students is their insatiable love of reading. Even sometimes students who have reading disabilities enjoy stories and enjoy books. At the same time, they often enjoy those books to the exclusion of everything else, and they're often the students you'll find, hiding their book under their desk and trying to read when they're supposed to be doing something else. Sometimes the perceptions that we have of things that are strengths for our students will also lead to some things that are perceived negatively, but are really just kind of part of that package of being gifted. So we've said that they can learn concepts very quickly and easily. They often retain easily what they have learned. They can recall those details and concepts at any time, especially when they're trying to kind of make those big picture connections. And they often have outstanding but abstract problem solving abilities. They'll find solutions whether or not it was the solution we were trying to get to, and they will use that ability to make those connections for problem solving. On the other hand, sometimes these skills can lead to other negative perceptions or negative fallout from what they were working on. So, for example, students can experience emotional and memory overload. And what that is, there's just too much going on in their head, and they're trying to pull from too many sources to the point that they shut down or freeze or just become exhausted with trying to do everything they're doing. And sometimes that freeze also means they struggle to return to the task because of the negative energy they have associated with it. We can also see that paralysis due to over analysis, focusing too long. Um, Students just they see so many details and possibilities that it's really hard to just narrow down to what is the task at hand and trying to actually move forward with the task at hand. So our job as instructors and teachers is to help them see those perspectives, but also sometimes contain those perspectives and guide them along a path so that they don't become easily overwhelmed. Other things that we will see with our gifted students is that ability to sustain concentration for lengthy periods. However, the flip side of that often is the concept of perfectionism. Perfectionism appears very frequently in our gifted students, which sometimes also leads to underachievement, not because they're not willing to do the work or even that they forget to turn the work in, but rather they are incapable of turning in the work because their fear of failure is overwhelming. Um, Students get excited, gifted people get very excited about things that are of interest to them. Um, but sometimes they constantly seek that novelty, even when we're trying as teachers or classroom or school folks to put in a routine and keep our students moving in a direction that works for the majority of students. And it can be a challenge to keep gifted students involved. The last thing that's very interesting with gifted and twice exceptional students is while they will often show some poise, that ability to speak to adults as though they are adults as well, and relate to topics that sometimes even adults around them don't understand. And they also can use, wordplay, puns to show a very unique sense of humor. But sometimes we see that asynchronous development, that development where they're very developed intellectually, but maybe not as developed socially. And it can lead to immature comments, comments that aren't said in the appropriate environment, and generally make it challenging to have meaningful but appropriate relationships with the people around them. One last area that we're going to consider in terms of perception is our gifted students' ability to work with others. They are often very independent thinkers, even if they like to talk out their ideas, and they are usually capable of working alone. But that can also lead to their insistence of working alone. They can be highly sensitive and competitive, whether or not they intend to, with their peers. They might look at information differently and become frustrated when their peers don't see the information the way they do. And this can lead to them wanting to work in groups, work independently, even when we're trying to have them work in group situations. They also might be hypersensitive to any types of noise or peer interactions around them, which can also lead to being overloaded and distracted, even when they're very interested in the topic. So as we move through these next sections in learning more about what our twice exceptional learners look like, we really should remember that double-edged sword of giftedness. The word gifted often makes people truly think of a gift, something that is positive and positive all the time. But truly, when we speak about gifted, we're speaking about kind of a double-edged sword of both high interest, high skills, but also high sensitivities and sensories to the world around them, which can lead to both academic and social challenges in the school.